Just have a few people sending me their best today. Okay, there we go. Thank you so much, Benita. Hi, Ramona. Hi, Bonnie. Thank you, everybody. Again, this is so exciting for me. I don't get to speak to you guys as often as I like. And when I attend events, it's so busy. Everybody's busy trying to engage with everybody they went there to see, plus talk to me. I'm trying to talk to everyone and all the suppliers I'm there to see. It's just a really exciting time. So this is exciting that I get to actually be here for you. And I know it's not quite the same because we're not in person, but again, you get to ask your questions and I'm happy to share anything that I know. And we will have a live Q&A here at the end. I left about 45 minutes for Q&A. I did want to give you a lot of content, but I also am prepared for a lot of questions because a lot of people think what I do is all about social media, and it really isn't. Social media is definitely a tool in what I do and what I teach, but it is not the absolute. So I will be welcoming some experts and whatnot into my course so they could share what they know to help us really amplify our exposure with the content we create. But for me, it's all about positioning and building what I call platforms so that you can execute that strategy flawlessly and effortlessly, because again, I'm all about effortlessness. All right, so here we are at the top of the hour. It's 10 o'clock and welcome everybody. I am so happy that you're here. I see we have, wow, it's like over 30 people here, which is amazing. And I only had 3 days to market this, plus at the event. So I'm just really proud of who shows up, and it really tells me who's very serious about creating the success that they desire in their business, because it's not only about wanting it, but it's doing the things that are going to take you that extra step further, right? That's the only way to shorten the distance between where you are and where you want to be. You know, a lot of people think that overnight successes really happen overnight. They don't. So studies show it takes anywhere from 10 to 13 years to be seen as an expert and position yourself. What I'm really proud to say is that we can now shorten that time, thanks in great part to social media, right? Because we're able to really get our message out there. What I'm going to be talking about today specifically, and I just want to let you know up front, this is not a social media course. This is about creating heartfelt content and how to position it and share it so you can create what I call virtual viralocity. And by virtual, I mean it appears to your clients that you're everywhere because of the way that you position yourself, and great thanks to the way that our networks, our platforms are kind of intertwined and create this big web. Once somebody sees our content on one site, social media will show them our content everywhere else because they already know they love it. So that really helps us out. But there is a certain way to do that. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. So let's get started. Let's see here. I'm going to be sharing my screen with you. So I'm going to be coming back and forth. And just know that when I share my screen, I won't be able to see your comments. So go ahead and continue. If I don't get to a question, I'll look at the stream when I come back, and I'll also look at the stream during our Q&A. So if there's any questions, I don't want you to hold them because I don't want you to forget about them while we're talking about the content. So go ahead and just post them. Again, I'm going to go through the feed and see what we can do to answer all of those, and I'll be available so you can ask me them live. So I'm going to start sharing my screen now with you. Excellent. Well, here we are. And today we're talking about how to take your travel business from obscure to omnipresent. So how many of you would like people to call you every day with trips you can make serious money with? You know, I know a lot of us are like, well, what's serious money? Well, for me, there was a time where every single call that came in and I booked a trip for them, my minimum commission, the amount of money that I wanted to make, and I shouldn't say commission, fees and commission combined, my goal was $1,000. Okay, that's what I wanted to make with every single trip, with fees and commissions combined. And those were really the only trips that I would take. Don't get me wrong, when people called in or they contacted me and I wasn't going to do the kind of business that I wanted to do with them, I was still of service, but I did not hold those clients and service their needs personally. I gave them resources and sent them emails on what they could do. I still put them on my list, and I kind of educated them on when was the right time to use me. It was something that really worked well with my business. And so how many of you would like to sell hundreds of thousands of dollars in travel more effortlessly? And I'm guessing all of you do because you're here. And I want to tell you that the 365 list building strategy that I'm going to share with you today is going to help you do this. It is responsible for helping me build my list in the way that I have by attracting only my ideal clients. You know, I'm not the kind of person who believes you should go out there and build a huge list, especially as a travel professional or entrepreneur. Let's face it, we can only handle so many clients before we're completely overwhelmed and our business takes over. But that doesn't mean that you cannot have an amazing business. You know, I've done it. I've taken the time to really figure all of this out. And in my guesstimation, we can all handle about 240 clients a year. And when you do this, setting that limit for yourself of $1,000 per client, which is exactly what we're going to be talking on, how to attract those clients. Okay, so don't get overwhelmed here with me already. Don't let me lose you. When you do that, if you get 240 clients a year and each client is booking and you're receiving fees of $1,000, that's over $240,000 a year. And you can do this and still have a quality of life, make incredible amounts of money, and still create the kind of abundance and freedom that you joined entrepreneurship to achieve. And so I want you to know that's all available. And today I'm going to share with you how to create that success in your business. So of course, these are all things that we want. We all want them. We crave success in our business. And I know it's not all about the money. And if anybody here really knows me, they know for me, effortless living is about meaning. It's not just money. But I'm here in business, right? And I can't forge my path, right, and my mission if I'm not successful, if I'm not profitable in my business. So it's really important that even though we want to create bigger things, at the end of the day, if we're not creating the revenue that we need to keep moving forward, our dreams kind of get squashed and we cannot be of service and show up in the way that we really want to in the world. And that's what all of this is about. We want to be of service to our ideal client, right? You know, and who is your ideal client? You know, that's something we're going to get a little bit into. This is not really where I cover how to specifically draw out your ideal client. It's part of a training that I provide. I'm going to be talking with you a bit later about. But when we're talking to our ideal client, they get it. They understand where we are, what we can do for them, and how it is we serve value and what solutions we provide to them. And by knowing exactly who they are, we can speak to their pains and better market to them. And that's what all of this is about, is really being able to hone in on exactly who we are, what we do, how we're of service, and to whom. When we start speaking that right language, you can't help but succeed. And this is what I've realized in my business. So we all have dreams of experiencing the freedom we entered entrepreneurship to achieve. And I want to make that happen for you. And I just feel that the last couple of years of my business have been so amazing. There wasn't a time I didn't even consider coaching, but because of what I've been able to do in the travel industry and because of what I've seen with people who struggle around me, I just know that there's a way I can share what I know to be of more service. So today I'm going to share with you the single strategy that has filled my groups, built my list, and helped me become the Wellbeing messenger. You know, I shared with you that last week I spoke at the Wellbeing Travel Symposium, and how perfect is that for the Wellbeing messenger? I created that brand about 2 years ago, and it's amazing that Wellbeing events already seeking me out. I received an exclusive invitation to go and speak there and share my message because of how I branded myself using the strategy that I'm going to show you today. So again, this is a strategy that works for so many things. And I don't only work with travel professionals. I work with authors and doctors, speakers, and coaches, all helping them create their message in such a way to build their lists and fill their groups so they can make more money while they create meaning. And I want to share this specifically with you and in a way that you clearly understand, because you are my community and I've been there. I know you. I know the struggles. I went through it for about 18 months and it was awful, but now I'll share more about that with you. But it's not like that today. Today, entrepreneurship is a lot more effortless. And I know it is in great part to what it is I'm sharing with you today. So welcome. And for those of you who don't know me, just please allow me to introduce myself. I'm a lifestyle expert and mentor for entrepreneurs and a new age marketing consultant. And so for those of you who are saying, well, what's a new age marketing consultant? Well, what I do is I help entrepreneurs and businesses use traditional, digital, and social media to market their brands. It's a fusion of using this strategy. So it's not just one or the other, which is why I say this is not a social media course. It's a way that you create and share content so that you can attract your ideal client with ease. I'm also the creator of Effortless Living Online, a lifestyle easing for entrepreneurs, which I really focus on helping people create effortlessness in their life. And what I like to say, I should say, is let's reclaim your time and calm your chaos so you can create a life you love. And I sincerely mean that. That is my mission for everyone, whether you're in business or not. I want to help people connect to what their bigger purpose is and really create that life that they love for themselves. And you might be asking yourself, okay, what does all this have to do with travel and how did she use that? Well, my platform, Effortless Living, helped me position myself to co-create well-being sojourns for experts who want to build loyalty and meaning in their businesses while traveling the world, which has been amazing. Because of the way that I do business, I only have about 5 to 7 clients a year. This year it's 6. Last year it was 7. My limit is supposed to be 5, which I break all the time when I have the capacity. And I help them set up these amazing retreats. And they're not the type of retreat where you just go and do yoga. There where people learn things, where my experts get to share their expertise and the things that they talk about with the people that attend. So it's not strictly what people think of as a retreat. That's why I don't like to call them retreats. I like to call them well-being sojourns. It's a soulful journey to help you connect. And that has been amazing for me. And again, I love my business and I love what I do. And I love the travel industry because of the health that it creates in people's lives that they don't even realize is available to them. But I want you to know that it wasn't always this way. And if you're feeling any of these things, know what's possible for you. Because when I first started out, I struggled. And when I say I struggled, I mean I struggled. It wasn't easy to do this. I was doing everything that I was told to do. I took my travel training. And of course, then I came back and I said, okay, it's time for me to build my website. And it's time for me to get my business cards. And then I sent out all my warm letters to all my contacts. And then I networked. And I have to tell you, I'm a bit of an introvert. So networking did not come very easily to me. And it wasn't even something I ever really wanted to do. But I did get out there. And I marketed my business, and then I waited. And what ended up happening wasn't very much. I had a few challenges. My clients didn't know that I existed. Now, granted, those people that I was able to reach, wonderful. I was able to reach them. I was even able to grow my list over 2,500 in a very short period of time, within a few months, by networking and attending trade shows and talking to people about what I was doing. But what happened was the people that I was getting on my list weren't necessarily the people that wanted my services or really understood what I wanted. Quite frankly, there were other people looking to get business for themselves, right? A lot of people working in MLMs, and they just really didn't get the way that a travel agent worked in this day and age, considering what they thought was my competition, which was the internet. So it took a whole complete re-education of the people I was in connection with. And they didn't know where to find me. We're not on Main Street anymore. Working in my home office as I am today, delivering this webinar to you, I don't have a listing in the business guides. I don't have a listing anywhere that even gives anybody my phone number. It's just me and a website as far as anybody's concerned. And so they didn't know how to get a hold of me to hire me. And that was really for me to do, right? Not for them. We had to make ourselves known out there. And then my clients really didn't know what I need. Like I said, I had to educate them about exactly what a travel agent could do for them, that it was not all about creating an image that didn't help them or a service that didn't really help them, right? I needed to really get them to understand how it was I could be of service, considering they're all telling me they felt the internet was my competition. And it was important for me to let them know that it wasn't. So in essence, I was completely invisible to them. And that's not a good place to be when you're in business, right? And I'm sure there are people out there who feel that way even today when you're out there and then all of a sudden the phone is not ringing and you're not getting the type of trips that you want. And so I want to help you end all that. So there are over 3,000 messages a day being delivered to us and our clients too. And it's important for us to recognize that. This is not just about our busyness, right? It's not just about how many hats we wear as a travel entrepreneur. This is about the overwhelm that our clients feel, and we have to understand that for them. Now, bear with me here as I'm going back to the presentation for you. I don't want you to miss this. Let's see here. Technology, you have to love it. Okay, the slides are blurry. I see that. I'm coming back. Let me reset these slides for you. Okay, now bear with me as I look for our computer system here to catch up. It's okay. I'm going to keep on going and I'll keep an eye on this. But right now, you should be able to see my slides. So if that's not enough, 80% of all businesses fail within the first 18 months. And that's scary, isn't it? That's not the best place to be for us. And I know how overwhelming that can feel. You know, you look at the statistics and you're like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Well, what I feel is really important is when you know the problems, you can figure out the solutions, right? And so that's what I'm going to talk about here right now is, and I'm only going to talk about the top 3 reasons why businesses fail, because as I read through everything, I noticed all of this had one common element, and I'll tell you what that is in a minute. So the 3 reasons why businesses fail, and we're only going to cover them very briefly, is the number 3 reason, we're going to take these down and work our way up, is that we're not communicating, right? When we read the studies and the information, the feedback, what it really comes down to is our ideal clients say we're not speaking consistently to them. You know, we might show up once in a while, but we're not really talking to them in a way that they see us enough to really know what we're about. Reason number 2 that businesses are not successful or that they fail is that they're not unique in the marketplace. And again, I read all the backup around this, and what they're really saying is you're not telling them about what you do or the problems you solve in a way that they understand. And I see we're still having a little bit of a problem here with the slides. So I'm going to go back. Okay, let's see here. I'm going to reset the slide share, and hopefully this will reset everything because I can see it's still not happening. Thank you, everybody, for chiming in. So here we are. I'm coming back to you. And let's see, I'm going to go ahead. And share the slides with you. I'm going to reset all of this. This is what's wonderful, actually, that this is happening while we're live, because I want you to know that things don't always have to go perfectly. And as long as you stay engaged, it's all good. Let this be a lesson to you, okay? This happens actually quite frequently, unfortunately. Technology doesn't always respond in a predictable manner. So I believe we're going to be all set here. I completely reset everything. And so we're going to start sharing right now. Present it to everyone. All right. So here we are. And again, in a couple minutes, you should be taken back to my slides. I'm going to wait a minute just to make sure we're all caught up here. So thank you, all of you, for sticking with me here and for being very patient as we go through all of this. Meanwhile, if anybody has any questions on what I covered so far, please go ahead and put your question in the chat box. I have a minute while we catch up here on the presentation. Oh, and I see, here we are. We have the slides up again. So again, thank you, everybody. So reason number 2, which I just covered, right, is we're not telling them about what you do or the problems you solve in a way that they understand, which is critical and which is something I really, really cover when I'm working in depth with a client, because they don't always know what to say. They know generally who their ideal client is and they have it all in their head. But when it's time to put it on paper, that's where they have a problem, right? They don't necessarily connect putting the words to the meaning and the thoughts that you have. That really is the struggle. And I know part of that is copywriting. And there's a lot of ways we work around that. And I really go in depth on that in 2 of my modules in my course because of how difficult of a challenge this was for me. I remember, and I still always reflect back on my lessons. And now my slides won't advance for me. Let's see here. Okay. So the number 1 reason that businesses fail is that they're not meaningfully connected to their ideal client, which again just goes into exactly what I was talking about. We are not speaking their language. We're not speaking a language they clearly understand. And when I looked at the 25 reasons, they actually had hundreds of reasons for why businesses failed. I just kept reading more and more. And what I realized they all came down to was communication. They just didn't get what we were trying to say. And I think that happens because as we create our marketing content, we always slip into formal corporate mode. But the reality is people don't want that from us. They really want to understand that we're offering. They love the idea of working one-on-one with someone. They're just not sure what we're delivering to them and what solutions we're really offering. They're not sure that it's safe to work with us. And they're also not sure about how easy it is to work with us. So these are the things we really need to talk about when we're marketing, is how easy it is to use us, how safe it is to use us, and how much value we can bring to them. These are all the things that they really want to know. And again, when you know the problems, you can create the solutions. And so I really did build my business with all of these things in mind. And so it was time for me to take a closer look at what I was doing. What was I really doing with my time? How was I investing it in my business? I really didn't know anything. I didn't know anything about business, and I really didn't know a lot about travel. I didn't know my ideal client. And since I didn't know my ideal client, I certainly didn't know how to speak to them, right? We go back and forth on this all the time. And it's really important to remember who it is we're being of service to. Too often we speak from our own perspective as travel professionals, but we can't do that because our clients are not travel professionals. Our clients are travelers and they're looking to us for our expertise. So how is it that we educate them and speak to them in such a way that makes them comfortable? We have to use their language. We have to speak to their pains and bring them the solutions. I honestly didn't even know what I really wanted to do to be of service other than just to make it easier for my clients to travel because it was good for them. I really do believe that. But I dug in my heels. I worked, and let me tell you, I worked so hard. I studied, I took courses, and I read every book I could get my hands on in marketing, website design and building, in branding, personal branding and business branding, and on social media. Again, a beautiful big tool that I believe every business needs to utilize it, but I believe there's also a lot of mismessaging about how exactly it is we use social media. And I studied with the best people I could find. You know, I studied with some of the top professionals in every industry I just named. In marketing, I work with Brendan Bouchard. On website building and design, I work with Marie Forleo. In travel, I work with Meredith Hill. I mean, those are all amazing people, thought leaders and experts in their own industry. And I took the time to learn from each of them because I knew what that would mean for my business. If I could just gather all this information and have it all kind of in my head, I knew I would be successful, and it worked. That's the amazing thing, is that it worked. And I still sit here in awe today as I wake up looking at my emails with people following up with me and reaching out to me saying they heard from me from so-and-so and so-and-so. They want to figure out a way to work with me. And that's what all this is about. There's people who aren't even sure about what I do, but because of my message, they know they want to work with me. And that's what I'm teaching you here, is how to position yourself so that people want to work with you and you seem like you're everywhere. And that's what they want. And then when you're in their head and people are talking about you, that's when they reach out. They're like, what is going on with this person? What are they doing? And that's what the 365 list building strategy is. And so in 4 years, I'm very, very, very proud to say I've received a master's in entrepreneurship from the University of Hard Knocks. And I have all of the tuition receipts to prove it. And again, this was hard work. And for the last 3 years, my business has grown over 600% year over year, 2012, 13, and 14. And in fact, I grew my commissions over 57,000% within 9 months using parts of the strategy as I was developing it. When I worked for 3 months, I only received a check for $56. And 9 months later, I'm very, very proud of the event that I put on in Bali and received a check for $32,000. And actually, it was a bit more than that, but not much more. Suffice it to say, it was huge. It was more money than I thought I could make a year at the time. So it's so important for me to help you realize that you can create this success for yourself too. It's all about attracting the right client that you want to work with. Too often we're afraid of what we're leaving on the table to just go out and call them out and say, hey, I want to work with you, luxury travel buyer. I want to help you get the things that nobody knows is available, right? We're just afraid to tell them, and we shouldn't. We should be proud that we can get them that access. And so I want to help you do that. So since October, I've helped dozens of other travel professionals who do the same in their business. People I've reached out to test my strategies because, quite frankly, I wanted to make sure they'd work as well for them as they work for me. And I'm very proud to say that they have. So what I learned using the right words, okay, and there's 3 fundamentals here. And again, I'm only going to briefly touch on these. And I wanted to give you all of this first because when I talk about the 365 list building strategy, I use all of these things. So I didn't want to give you the strategy and tell you how to without telling you exactly why you're doing these things, okay? So first and foremost, what I learned was we need to get clear, right? We need to articulate the who, what, how, and why of our businesses. It's not good enough to just know. We need to be able to articulate in detail specifically what it is exactly we deliver and who it is we want to talk to. I know a lot of us are like, well, I am clear. I say I want to work with travelers. But travelers is really big. There's a lot of travelers. And quite frankly, we're not doing a very good job of attracting them because 56% of the traveling public doesn't even think to use a travel professional, which is scary to me. And we need to change that. That's our job to change, and nobody else's. So we need to get clear about exactly who it is we're working with and how we're going to help them. What solution are we bringing to them? What is it that we're going to make possible for them when they hire us? And then get connected. Share yourself authentically, openly, and genuinely to attract your ideal client. I put my heart on the table every Saturday morning when I deliver my newsletter. I'm very real and authentic. A lot of what I share is incredibly personal to me, and it's about the struggles that I've been through and the struggles that I see others go through that I know I can help them get past because I got past them. So I know it's possible. I have a wealth of wisdom, and I know that every single thing I've been through is for a reason. So every time something comes up, I put it out there. I'm not ashamed anymore. There was a time where I was ashamed that I was clinically depressed and on medications. I am ashamed to admit that Lyme disease wiped me out and put me in bed for the better part of a year, and it's taken me years to regain any sense of normalcy in my life. There was a lot of shame around those things when it first happened. But from healing and facing those fears and learning to share that, now millions of people know. And you know what, quite frankly, I know that I've empowered a lot of people to step out because of it. And that's all I want to do, is create change in the world to help people, again, create a life they love. We need to unlearn all the things that we've been learning all this time that have kind of screwed us up, right? And get us thinking in a fearful pattern. I want to break all that down for people. And so for you to reach success, I know this is one way I can help you. So while you might not think, well, effortless living, which is about personal development, how is it tied to business? Well, for me, this is effortless entrepreneurship. And if I can make you successful faster, I know you will get to effortless living that much faster as well. So all of this really has a big, deeper meaning for me. And I hope you understand that, because when I talk about creating meaning through your messaging and creating a mission in your business, it's not only a feel-good thing to do, it's really also a very smart strategy. And then get abundant. Build a community filled with your ideal clients, engage and share with them. They will be loyal and buy what you offer. You know, when we're out there networking face to face with people, they see us, right? They get to know, like, and trust us because we show up. When you're online in the digital world, you do this all in a very different way. And that's what the 365 list building strategy is about. Developing that know, like, and trust digitally, right? On the internet, not face to face, but you build that same relationship. And I can tell you, I have friends all over the world, greatly because of my travels, but another part of it is because I reach out to everyone. I hold calls on Skype with people in India and Japan and Germany. It's just amazing to me at what exactly we can do. And only 25% of the world is connected to the internet right now. Over the next 3 years, we have about 3 billion more people coming online. So if you're going to position yourself, now is the time, because if you think there's a lot of websites and competition out there now, it's only going to build. So it really will serve you to stand out in this manner, because quite frankly, you don't need everybody. You just need the right people. So we're going to go through these quickly. Get clear is about articulating the who, what, how, and whys of your business. And it's not good enough to just know, okay? You want to clearly state, what do I want to offer? Who do I want to help? How do I want to help them? And what solutions do I provide for them? All these things are critical. Again, it's not enough to just know. You need to be able to articulate this. Then you get connected, share yourself authentically. How do you do that? Well, you communicate while sharing your passions, your personality, and your purpose. Remember, creating purpose is not just a feel-good thing. It's also a very smart strategy. People love to feel part of something bigger. Just think back to the success of the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge and how many people were out there. Even executives were doing it to show that they were part of that community they knew you were belonging to as well. So just think about that. So create that meaning in your business. Share your passions openly and without abandon. I mean, really, because that helps them see you as a person. And you want that. You have a small personal business that you're running. It's okay for people to see that you're human. Share that with them. And then you get abundant, right? By growing your community, talking about your meaning, and you create loyalty. And in the end, that abundance is success. And I want you to know that success for me is not just about money. A lot of it is meaning and how many people you're of service to. And I believe as dream weavers and memory makers, that travel agents, just, calling you guys out as these things, I get goosebumps because I know exactly the spontaneous healing that can happen for people when they travel. It happened for me. It happened to other people. You hear them. Their kids have fewer seizures. People have less symptoms while they travel. Dementia, Parkinson's, epilepsy, chronic fatigue, blood pressure drops. I mean, all these amazing things improve with travel, and you're able to deliver this to people. Again, I just can't get over how amazing it is and how much it is we can do with what we know, and how many of us just kind of underestimate our value. And I want us to own it as an industry, own our value. The internet has nothing on us, not one thing, because of what we bring. And when we let people know that, not by presenting ourselves as, well, here are all the trips I can book for you. No, it's here's what I can do for you. These are the things that I'm passionate about. This is my personality. This is my purpose. Do we see eye to eye here? Yeah, okay, then let's work together. And if not, that's okay. That's okay too. So don't worry about that. You just want the right people. When you do this, you no longer compete on price. You're no longer invisible to those who need you most, and I'm in this business because I couldn't find anyone to deliver what I needed when I needed you most. When I needed somebody to take me away and help me get better, there was no one doing the kind of girlfriendships that I was doing. So when I started feeling better, I said, that's what I want to do. I want to help people create this healing in their lives when their friends need it most. And that's really what inspired me to get into travel. So again, for me, it is all about the healing and the deeper meaning of why it is we do what we do. And you're no longer waiting for the freedom you've desired since starting your business. I know a lot of us create our business and we are fairly successful, let's say, and maybe we're surviving, right? We're paying our bills and we're living, which is wonderful because I know there's a lot of people who just strive to get to that point. But I do believe that it's time for us to thrive. We don't just have to accept survival. We don't just have to accept every client that comes to us, especially when maybe we don't enjoy working with them or maybe we don't enjoy doing the types of trips they want to go on anymore. We have to honor ourselves by honoring our value and putting ourselves out there to take the business and create the business that we know will fit well into our lifestyles. And we don't have to let business take over to achieve that. So again, understand this is not a social media course. This is not a blogging course or a supplier travel course or travel supplier course. This is all about marketing in the new age. This is a marketing course to help you use a fusion of traditional, digital, and social media to create virtual virality. And I'm saying virtual because it's not real virality, right? Virality is when one of your posts go incredibly viral, which can happen for you. This can happen for you. And it has happened for me where I'll get like 6,000 hits on a blog and I'll be like, oh my God, where did that come from? But it all starts from what I'm going to show you right now. We're almost to that point. So I know you've been waiting very patiently and thank you. But know that when you share in this way that I tell you to build on, doing the 365 list building strategy, you create a virtual virality because what happens is when people see you online, they think you're everywhere, whether or not you've become virtual or not, because of the way that you're sharing. And social media and our blogs all create kind of a net, a weaving, right? So I'm sure you've seen it where, like, let's say you're shopping on Amazon.com and then you go into your Facebook page and all of a sudden the products you were looking at are actually being advertised on that page. It happens. There's a lot of pixels and API things that, quite frankly, you don't need to know or go into. But that's what makes this happen. But there's other ways that this happens, and Facebook is really good at doing this. If you are seen on Instagram by someone, when they're on Facebook, Facebook is going to show them your post too. When you're on Pinterest, the same thing happens. When you're on Twitter, it happens. It's because of the way all of these platforms integrate with one another that it makes it easier than ever for us to do this. So that's what I mean when I say virtual virality. It's from the perspective of your clients. So here it is, the 365 list building strategy. And I have to say, this is the first time I'm sharing it publicly. This is really something that I train my private coaching clients with. And again, I was mostly doing it because I wanted to make sure that it really, really worked, and it does. And so now I've broken it down in a way that I could teach it to you, hopefully very simply. We'll see what you think in a few minutes. And this again is to build organically and amplify abundantly. This is a no money marketing strategy, but I will tell you, if you put money behind this, it will only amplify your visibility in the marketplace. Okay. So again, you could start out organically and see how things go. It will bring you more business. And then I highly recommend you invest in it in order to amplify your efforts. So give me a moment here before we start in there. I'm going to take a drink. All right. So here it is, the 365 list building strategy. There's 7 steps. And again, for anyone who follows me, should not be surprised at 7. I use 7 all the time. It's really big for new beginnings and has a lot of meaning for me. So first and foremost, and we're going to go through these one by one. So please, as I go through it, don't freak out or like, what do you mean? Or what do I need to do? We're going to go through these one by one. But I just want to let you know where we're heading. So the first step is create a lead magnet, which is an IFO, right? Informational free offer. People call them a power piece. There's like all these names for exactly what a lead magnet is. But what it really is something that you offer in exchange for people giving you their name and email address. It's really that simple. And then you create content that really backs up your lead magnet, right? You create content that's related to your lead magnet and what you do and who you are in the marketplace. And then you create an opt-in page, right? And don't freak out on me. I know I have some techies here because I know a lot of these people that are in my space and they get totally freaked out by opt-ins and landing pages when we start talking about that stuff. But again, it's not that difficult and there's a lot of tools to help you. So there's no reason to be fearful of this anymore. There were years ago where this was really scary. You need to know coding and all this other stuff to do it, but not anymore. For the most part, it's simple as clicking a button when you have the right tools. And then you post and share your content to social media platforms, all the platforms that you have access to and want to engage in. And then you measure your results, right? That's our step 5. And then step 6 is rinse and repeat step 4 with your best content. We measure the results, so we're only always sharing our best. If something kind of bombs, maybe we work on it. And usually if something does bomb, it has nothing to do with your work or the text. It usually has to do with the image or the headline. So that makes tweaking really easy for you. And then the last step is constantly replacing the content that didn't do well and testing it again over and over and over. And you just run through this cycle. This is essentially how you do it, and it makes you seem like you're everywhere. So what I usually will do is take a piece of content, put it out there one time, and see how it does. And if it does well, I share it over and over and over again. Not just that week, but 6 weeks later, 5 weeks later. At this point, I've created a content library with over 250 blogs and about 7 lead magnets that I can continuously run ads to and Facebook posts to that build my list. So again, it's really, really amazing what you can do. So let's talk about these one-on-one. So step 1, create a lead magnet. We're creating a lead magnet to entice our ideal client to say yes to us, okay? And so creating a lead magnet is for our ideal client. So again, we have to know who they are and we have to know what solutions they're looking for. Okay, that's so important. That's where you create the right lead magnet for them. So you can do this via an ebook, a special report, a video series, a blog series, or you can even just record audio. Record yourself. Our phones are amazing for video. They have excellent video cameras and excellent audio equipment. There's no reason you need anything else. Use your phone to do a lot of this. I do. All of my videos are recorded mostly on my phone. I shouldn't say all of them, but I would say about 90% of my videos are recorded on my iPhone and edited right on my iPhone. And so I know there's other phones that do this. It's not just Apple. Everyone's in this phone industry and they're all doing it. So I'm sure what tool you have, learn it and start using it for your business. And step 2, we create content. Again, we're creating content for our ideal client. It's not just anything. It's what is going to speak to them. And so you can share with them the destinations you visit, right? I know a lot of us are traveling. We can share those pictures, tell them about those places that we know they're interested in. And we know what they're interested in because we're constantly surveying them and doing research on them, right? So that's how we know. You can also share your specialty and create checklists and reports for them. This is all content that's worked very, very well for me. One thing that I did, which anybody could take, and I highly recommend you take, and if it's not this exact strategy, it could be one just like it. 1 week, share my top 10 Caribbean trips, right? Then each week after that, for 10 weeks, share an in-depth article on each of those destinations that you shared. And at the end of 11 weeks, combine your articles, the top 10 plus the 10 supporting articles, and there's your ebook. So you got 11 weeks of content for your newsletter, and now you have an ebook that you can offer for your ideal client as an opt-in. So use that content in a way that really benefits you. People are always like, Carmen, how do you create so much content? This is how I do it. Not one thing that I create only has one use. Everything has multi-use. Okay, everything I apply in different ways. And so when you do this, it really does ease up the effort. So you're not continuously creating new things. You know, at a certain point, you don't even have to create new blogs anymore. If you get enough of them, you can deliver one every week to your clients. Quite frankly, they don't remember what they read 6 months ago. So there, you can easily share a blog article that you shared, share it again. Create a year's worth of content and then just improve on it. It doesn't always have to be completely new. Okay. And I want you to understand that, because all of us get really stuck and, oh my God, I have to write my newsletter. Oh my God, I have to do this. It doesn't always have to be new. You can recycle things and you can represent it and position it so that every time it comes out stronger and better when you show it off. Step 3, you create your opt-ins. So you create an opt-in for every piece of content you create. But the key here is to create the content specifically for one client. Okay. Now we can have several ideal clients. You know, I have a client who focuses on family travel. So she has 3 clients. She has her ideal client who is a mom with young children. She's married. She has another client who is a mom who has older children. And then she has multi-generational families. So these are all 3 different kind of clients that are in her target market. And when she creates her content pieces, there's one for each of those people that relate to them, right? Because quite frankly, the mom with teenagers isn't going to care that you can build sandcastles in Cocoa Beach. It just may not be what her kid is up to, right? It's older children, that's not really what they love when they come to Florida. It just isn't. I'm just using Florida because it's my home state and I love it. There's so many amazing things to do here. But for most likely, the teens are going to want to go to Busch Gardens and go on those bigger roller coasters and have those kinds of experiences, or go with the jetpack and go over to Tampa and put one of those on so they could fly above the water. I mean, there's so many things that are available to people, but that same piece of content, the mom with the 5-year-olds isn't going to want. And then again, the multi-generational families, they're going to want content on how to make the best vacation for them and their family, because they're going to be in all different age groups, right? And so you can create different things this way. It doesn't have to be one thing. I just want you to focus on one thing at a time. And that's something I always get people to struggle to understand. It doesn't always have to be one thing. It's just one thing right now. And then once you get that funnel set up, then you do the next one. And so when you create these opt-ins, you make sure you put it on every page of your website. Most of us can do that by installing a widget. And I know a lot of us aren't doing this ourselves, and you can have your developer do it. They'll know what I mean when you say, hey, she said I should put this on my homepage as a widget. They'll say, okay, you know, so don't be afraid of that. Definitely do it. And also put an opt-in at the end of every blog you create. This way, when you share it on your social media sites, if people are interested in getting more of your free content, they can sign up right there. You know, make it effortless for people to follow you. It's so important. Make everything highly shareable and create lots of content. Have it out there. Make it just seem like you have so much out there. And it really is about building this one at a time, okay? Don't feel like anybody expects you to have everything. We all started somewhere. I started blogging 4 years ago. So of course, I have hundreds of blogs I can relate on. You know, and I talk about different things, all of my passions, and I share very authentically. But even before I ever repost a blog, I always go through it, see if the message has changed any, see if I can refine it and fine tune it. Because until I get 100% opt-in on everything, I know it's not at its best. Okay, so that's okay. Everything is a learning strategy. What's important, or a learning process, but what's important is that you always continue moving forward. So step 4 is then to post your content. Each day, share your posts. You share them to social media platforms, to your websites, and to other websites. You know, Tumblr allows us to share our posts there. LinkedIn allows us to directly share our blog posts there. It's not just about sharing there. We can actually post them. And I'm sure people are saying, well, Carmen, people say that if you post them directly, it's copy content, and Google doesn't like that for SEO. Well, this is going to get you more hits than you're ever going to get on SEO. We all know how challenging it is to get on the first page of a Google search. And that's not our goal here. Our goal is to get the most exposure we can. Most of that is going to come from sharing, and it doesn't mean that they won't find you anyway. When you create authentic content with right keywords, they find you, okay? Google is smart. Their algorithms are smarting out all the SEO experts. No more quick scams on just trying to get found for anything so more people get exposure to your site. The algorithms and all of the search engines are searching our websites and saying, this is what it means. This is how many times they use this word. This is the word that they're really optimized and keyworded for. And so that's what I recommend you do. Just write authentically. Yes, create a list of keywords that you want to use in your blogs, but don't worry about it being perfect. Once you blog about something 10, 15 times, you can leave that keyword alone. It will show up when it's right, okay? So don't be afraid of SEO and search engines and all that stuff. You know, there's a whole new way of doing business out there that a lot of people aren't talking about and embracing, that I've seen at very high level trainings. And I'm telling you, it's been working incredibly well. And so I don't want you to get hung up on that. I'm not saying that SEO experts aren't necessary, because they are, because we need our core words. But that's it. That's where it ends. We're creating our blogs. They must be authentic and speak to our ideal clients. It's not about keywords. It's about connecting with them. And then you measure your results. You take a look at the results of your posts, and you want to know how well did they convert, how many people like them, how many people engaged by commenting or sharing them. And on social media, you should know the biggest compliment you can get to your work is when people share it. That's what you want. And that's actually what all the algorithms favor, is if people share your content, they don't have to like it or comment on it. The social media platforms will share it more. And that has just been my measurements, my results. Again, I'm very, very big into measuring. For those of me who know me as a very creative person, that's like, I would say, the new me or the other version of me. I'm a very logical, math oriented. I love measurements. I'm all about statistics and seeing how things measure out and looking for improvement and what I could do better technologically. Okay. So I'm really big on measuring your results. And I do believe that's so important. And again, until something converts at 100%, I just don't believe it's done yet. You can do more work on it. All right. So step 6, you rinse and repeat. After you put out a couple blogs and you monitor them for a week or so, you look for your most successful pieces, the one that people really engaged with, and then you repost it on social media and you share it again and again and again. You know, for blog posts, I highly recommend that people create 5 images to go with that same blog post, so you can continue to share the blog post and you just switch out the images and see which ones work best, which ones people really take to. And also make those images standalone worthy so that you could still use them for other content on your social media. You know, again, always create content with the intention of sharing it in many places, but you always want it to look a very special way so that it's branded for you. Again, these are all kind of things. I'm giving you extra tips as we move along here. These are all things that I teach in my course. All right, so with step 7, then you create additional content pieces until you've developed a small library to share with your community. You know, this library, I told you, mine is 4 years in, and I want to say at last count, I had about 252 blogs. I have over 100 newsletters. I have several lead magnets. I haven't really counted them in a while, so I don't want to say a number. But you want to always create these pieces in your spare time. And I know you're like, well, what's spare time? Set aside 2 to 4 hours a month just to create content. I actually do entire days because I love to create courses. So I actually block out like a week. It used to be twice a week. I'm sorry. Let me do a better job at explaining this. I used to set aside 2 work days a week to create content. And then I still felt that wasn't enough. I think for most people, a day or 2 is enough. So when you sit down and you're looking at your monthly calendar, Set aside one day to create content, right? Write 4 blogs, create 20 memes. And memes are those inspirational images that people can create. And then you have all your content for the whole month. You don't have to sit in that space to create again. And so before I used to do that every week, right? Instead of once a month, I recommend once a month for the average travel professional or travel entrepreneur. And that's who I'm speaking to today. So that's what I'll share with you there. But the way that I do it, and at one time I had it twice a day, every single week. So I had 8 content creation days. And so now I've changed that, where instead of setting aside 2 days a week, I actually set aside a whole week in my month to create content. And during that week, I'm not working with clients. I'm not taking calls. I'm really not leaving my office. I'm really protecting my inspired space and just sitting down and creating. And so ideally, you're going to want to build up to 10 pieces of high engagement content that lead to your opt-ins, okay? 10 pieces. Again, we're looking for high engagement. We want people are sharing them, liking them, reading them, and signing up using them. And once you have those 10 pieces, then you can start saying, okay, let me work on the next piece of content for the next ideal client I want to attract. And then just, again, start slowly. Start just creating one a week. Don't get so caught up in exactly everything you have to do right away. I have years of experience, and I am a content creation machine. I'm not the only person who says it. A lot of people who know me are just like, I don't know how you create so much stuff. This for me is an outlet. I love to create. I love to teach. I love to share everything that's going on. And I am a lifelong learner. So for me, this is huge. And if that's you, maybe you want to change your business model to include that. If that's not you and you're just like, look, I just need to get more clients that I want to work with to make more money in my business, this is the way you do it. All right, so this was the 365 list building strategy. And as you can see, it didn't take so long to go through. There's no little tricks or anything like that. It's a very solid system that anyone can execute on. Really, you can. And I know, to me, if I look at anything here, the biggest that might not be so easy is creating that opt-in, because people have created so much mystery around an opt-in page. Opt-in page is simply use a headline, use a picture of what you're giving away, tell them exactly what they're going to get when they read that book, and then tell them to enter their name and email address. That's it. That's all an opt-in page is. Doesn't have to be any more. If you want to put bullet points on, go ahead. But I will tell you what statistics show, which is you could put anything in bullet points and almost no one reads them and they still sign up. It makes very, very little difference. So if you want to be as easy on yourself as possible, and I always encourage you to do that, headline, what you deliver, give them an image of the book, and then tell them to put in their name and email address. And either yes, they sign up, or no, they don't, and they click off. And I want you to know that anybody who clicks off is doing you a favor. They're not your ideal client. It's okay. I don't want people thinking like, well, nobody, 100 people came to my page and only converted to 30%. That's okay. All it means is you're not bringing the right people to that page. It has nothing to do with you. And if you have all the right information there and you think your targeting is right, then look at your words. Are you telling your clients exactly what you deliver? Are you speaking their language? Are you speaking with them in mind, right? All the things that we realized were big mistakes in business that was not helping them. I don't want you to get stuck because you don't know something. Everything is figure outable. I figured all this stuff out. Again, I did reach out to experts. I got private coaching. I've got group coaching, everything I can figure out. And there were still things I Googled all the time, because no matter how many coaches you get, nobody ever wanted to sit down and look at your website or look at all your marketing materials, right? They just relied on you to pull it all together. And so I want you to know that I don't want you to get stuck. Just keep moving forward one step at a time. And if you really, really have a strong challenge, reach out to somebody. That's okay. Nobody expects you to know it all. This is a journey, and it's all about the destination. And if you don't enjoy it, you're not laughing and enjoying yourself all along the way to your success, I'm sorry, it's not worth it. It's much easier to go get your standard job, collect your paycheck, and have a good time, okay? But I know you're doing this because you want to create more meaning and success in your lives. And so I want you to enjoy the process, enjoy learning it, enjoy executing these things and figuring it out, figuring out exactly how to attract those right people to you. And don't limit yourself by buying into the belief you must do everything on your own to be successful. That's me. I was so tied up and I got to get this. I got to get this. I got to get this. I got to understand it. A lot of the questions I had, I probably could have reached out to people, but I never did. So know that you don't have to figure it all out and be on your own. You're not, especially now. You're part of my community. You get my newsletter. I'm here for you. I have an open door policy. I want you guys to talk to me. I really do. I want to know how I can be of service. What else can I share to help you be successful? I'm always asking every single week. I tell people, write me, write me, write me. You write me. It may take me a few days to get back because I do get about 700 emails a week just from the newsletters and reaching out in the blogs, but I do get to you. Yeah, I always do. And again, so just have your patience. Give me the couple days that I need. I always catch up. I'm always actively working on this. This is such a huge passion of mine. I don't think people really understand that, no matter how much I say it, because they hear it from so many other people. I'm not sure they understand exactly what my commitment means, because that's all relevant too, right? Is how big is your commitment to other people's success? And mine is very great. So I just want you to know that. And so don't believe that your travel business has to look like anyone else's. In this day and age, you can innovate and create anything for yourself. Look at my business. It doesn't look like this, right? My business does not look like everybody else's business. My business looks very different. It's an easing platform, okay? Very different. So I want you to know that you can do anything, create anything the way that you want. And don't get caught up in the belief that you already know everything. No one does. There's always something new to learn. When you show up, the golden nuggets show up for you. And so sometimes you need to hear things 2, 3, or 4 times. So I just want you to know that. So let go of the presumptions and assumptions and get your gumption. Create the business that you know you deserve and the one that you joined entrepreneurship to achieve. Okay, I know it's there for you. So by now, you know how to get clear, connected, and get abundant, right? We went over all of that. We went over how to get noticed with a clear strategy to create and share your content. That's the 365 content strategy or list building strategy. And how to avoid the common pitfalls that most people fall into, right? Don't get stuck and think you have to do it alone. Don't think you need to know everything. Everything is figure outable, right? All those things are so important to your message and helping you get your business out there. And so you told me that you wanted to get noticed in a bigger way so your ideal clients could find you and to make more money doing what you love. So I'm offering an invitation to you to let me help you. Stop wasting your time, your energy, and your money. And I wholeheartedly believe this because that's where I felt I was, just spinning my wheels, and get noticed online now. This is a 5-module course and coaching program that I'm offering. And we go through 5 modules on clarity, messaging, website building, community, and then building at breakneck speeds. Now, I want you to know this 5-module e-course, like when I talk about clarity, I mean, we go into your ideal client, how to identify them. We go into messaging and how to create a mission from your message to really relate to your ideal client and position yourself so that anything that you do, not just selling travel, but just sharing who you are, is well received by your community. Then we talk about building your website, and I don't want anybody to freak out because yes, if you want to build your own website, I could show you how to do that too because I've done it. But what I give you are the templates on exactly how it is your website should look because you have about 8 seconds to get your ideal client to say yes to that page. If not, they click off. And if they click off, they never get to the amazing services that you offer. So you want to make sure you position that well. And this is not just about your homepage. I help you develop your about page and your services page. Go through creating service packages so you can offer different levels of service. I've always worked with different levels of service in my business, and it's a really, really good strategy. And it has helped me bring in so much business. People are always amazed at the different options they have available to them once I let them know. So that's so important. And then I talk about engaging your community. And I want to tell you that I start with engagement because I don't believe how many people you have on your list really matters. I know there's people saying, oh, you can get 5,000 people on your email list in 2 months. You could get 10,000 people on your list in a whole year. My belief, quite frankly, is if you need that many people to fill your business, there's something wrong. You only need the people who are your ideal clients who want to hire you. If you're working solo, you can handle about 240 clients a year. That's 20 clients a month, okay? That's booking 5 trips a week. which will bring you a very respectable, why can't I say that? Respectable income revenue stream. I know, do you really need 1,000 clients? Most of us would buckle to our knees under the pressure of having 1,000 active clients. For me, and I've seen this, you need about 1,000 people on your list for about 240 people to do business with you a year. That's all you need. And if they're the right people, you probably get more than you want, and you start bringing people in, which is actually kind of nice. It's a tipping point for businesses. But to get started, this is where you need to go. And so I don't want you to feel overwhelmed. And I have this available to you. And again, I just feel this great desire. I've helped so many people, and I know there's so much more we can do together. So with Get Noticed Travel Pros, you get a 5-line online course and coaching program. You get the 5 modules. You also get the videos. You get the PDF of the slide presentation. You get the audio, and you get the workbook and all the templates that come along with the course. And you get 12 months of Q&A. I hold meetings every month for about 90 minutes where you can get on and ask any question you want along with any of the group. This is a pre-launch special. I shouldn't say it's even pre-launch. It's actually available now, and it will be $497. But through July 30th, I'm offering it for $247 to you guys. And I have to say, this is a very exclusive group. This is not open to the general public yet. This is only for people that I've been speaking to and who are within my community. And I believe on opening everything very, very small. I like to handle it that way and kind of see what happens. So again, it's available to you for $247. And I want you to reach out to me. Again, I am truly dedicated to your success. I'm available at info@effortlesslivingonline. And I want you to know that, for me, this is not just about money. It's about meaning. And I know what it is you can do for people. So I'm here for you, and I want to help you facilitate that success. And I don't want you to get frustrated and give up on me. So with that, that's the end of our webinar. But